Barney, you don't know anything about firearms or hunting. Put that thing before you scare the birds or hurt somebody.
There's no one else here. When does the hunting start?
Barney! Put that shotgun away. Just watch. Maybe you'll learn something.
Watch what, Al? I don't see anything. Come on. Let's move on to the action.
Barney, will you keep quiet and try to learn something?
Hey, look at that!
Barney! Barney! Stop! Stop!
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Hey, knock it off.
Somebody lock up that
There'll be
nut.
no titles aren't in season.
There goes the game.
Take your nuts a minute.
Let him out of his
He
cage.
should be allowed to.
You don't know how to hunt. Stay home. You better learn, buddy.
I guess, I did the wrong thing, huh?
You can't just start blasting away. Being a good sportsman takes patience and training. These Hunter Orange outfits are a good start. They make it easy for hunters to keep track of one another. And bringing your dog Morgan along is another good thing. A really good hunter hunts with a trained dog whenever possible. But boy, you've got a lot to learn about this sport. Of course, hunting wasn't always a sport. We had to hunt for food. Later, as we became more civilized, some people imposed controls on our hunting. And since this was mainly kings and dukes and the like who owned the land, they claimed all the game on it. Well, the common man had very little place that he could hunt, at least legally.
That made it tough on us hunters.
Well, not in this country. You see, our forefathers wanted to make it quite clear that all wildlife belonged to the people, no matter whose land it was on.
I like that.
Sure, because as we were settling this country, we had to hunt to provide food. Later, some people even hunted for a living. But as domestic animals replaced wild, hunting became more of a sport than a necessity. And we became so busy developing our land, we didn't take time to fully understand what we were doing to it. Our environment became an obstacle to be conquered. Building our cities and plowing our land, we destroyed much of the habitat needed for wildlife. Food, water, shelter.
That's terrible.
And who do you think was the first to be concerned and want to do something about it?
The biologist?
No, it was the hunter. He saw the reduction in game and felt that something should be done to restore and preserve our wildlife and environment.
Yeah, but surely the government was taking care of all of this.
Not at first. Problems come before solutions. It was the hunters who insisted on a solution to the game problem. They finally started some action in Washington. But there were a lot of problems with our first efforts at game management. For one thing, wildlife doesn't stay put. Some birds migrate from Canada to Mexico and back in a single year. So you see, some regulations had to be international. Another problem was how to finance effective game management. People had to be trained. Studies had to be made. Offices and departments opened. We made some mistakes. In our desire to preserve wildlife, we overprotected some species of birds and mammals and underprotected others, or simply didn't know the problems of others. But at least we saw the problems and kept pushing for improvement, even to the extent of putting time and money into the effort. Finally, we became scientific about it. As a result, our wildlife management and hunting regulations are darn practical. And we can thank our hunting and fishing fathers and grandfathers for all of this.
How about that, Morgan? I never knew that the hunter helped do all of that.
Few people do. And how do you suppose we finally financed all this?
Taxes?
No, not general taxes. A special tax. Sportsmen all over the country pay millions of dollars in excise tax on hunting and fishing equipment. hunting and fishing licenses provide the funds for our state conservation departments. They've organized private groups and institutions to help in other ways. Ducks Unlimited is a good example. Money raised by this organization buys and restores land which can't qualify for federal funds. Also, manufacturers of hunting and fishing equipment contribute in many ways.
I never really thought of that. I mean, you usually don't think of a hunter as a conservationist.
It's true, Barn, but more people should. Most people are concerned, but very few do anything about it, except the sportsman. And as he works to benefit game, many non-game species are helped. Many public lands, such as preserves and refuges, are supported by money from hunters. These provide a place for hiking, bird watching, camping, and the like.
And the sportsman's interest benefits everyone.
Now you're catching on. Modern game management is scientific. A given area can only support so many animals. When overpopulation occurs, suffering and death can result. Since most animals are capable of reproducing in larger numbers than the land can support, it's desirable to harvest the surplus. Wildlife departments make careful studies and determine what management is needed. Then hunters harvest the surplus like a farmer harvests a crop.
But surely these studies must take a long time.
They do. Hunting seasons are relatively short, but game is studied all year. Before setting hunting regulations, the number, sex, age, and the distribution of the game must be determined.
Hunters surely go to an awful lot of trouble for their sport.
And they go to that trouble because the desire to hunt is very strong and hard to explain. It provides enjoyment, personal satisfaction, and food for the table. A true sportsman is interested in animals even if he can't hunt them. He appreciates the out of doors. He really loves nature.
I see what you mean. The hunter can feel proud of the fact that he's actually doing something. I mean, he doesn't wave flags or blow horns. He's actually doing something constructive. But how about that, Al?
These things aren't done by real hunters. They're done by vandals. Unfortunately, if you see one rotten apple in the barrel, you condemn the whole lot. And if you don't consider others, you're a rotten apple. Many people think any damage done with a firearm is done by hunters.
I don't want to be like that.
If you're patient and pay attention, I'll turn you into a real sportsman.
Yeah, oh, I'm with you. I mean, I'll try. I'll really try.
Okay, let's get started. Now, what do you know about your firearm?
Well, it'll shoot. Sure do number on a film title.
Now, your shotgun is a 12 gauge. Its effective bird hunting range is about 40 yards. However, with larger shot, it can be dangerous at well over 100 yards. Now, some people believe that a shotgun isn't very dangerous, but watch.
Holy mackerel!
Makes you think, huh, Barney? Now, a rifle is different. It shoots a bullet a greater distance and is dangerous at any point along its path. That's why you must be very sure of your background. A rifle can be deadly at a mile or more. The exact ranges of these guns vary with conditions. See, Barn? Any firearm deserves respect.
I respect.
Okay. Before you get your hands on a firearm again, you should learn certain fundamentals. How to load, unload, clean, store, and how to use the safety. The most important thing to remember about a safety is to keep it on at all times until you're ready to fire, and check it frequently. But remember, it is mechanical and may not be foolproof, so don't depend on it. Always treat any firearm as if it's loaded. Never point a firearm at anything you're not going to shoot, and be sure of your target and what's beyond. Now, you also have to know your ammunition. There are many different types of ammo for different types of shooting. Color-coded shells help you be sure of your gauge. The wrong use of ammo can be dangerous.
It sure pays to know your firearm and the ammunition.
You're right. The ammunition manufacturers will help you. They have excellent materials on the shells you need for your type of shooting. Using the proper ammo is part of your respect for the game.
Respect for the game?
Certainly. If you use the right firearm and ammo and you use them properly, you won't be as likely to leave any wounded game in the field. This idea of respect is an important part of hunting. If the hunter's ethic could be put in just one word, it would be respect. And that respect goes far beyond legal requirements. You see, most of our hunting is done on private land. And always get the owner's permission before you hunt. Some states require it. After all, he owns the land, and it often costs him time and money to let you hunt there. So show him respect and courtesy. Ask his permission, and where you may or may not hunt, and let him know that you respect him and his possessions.
Yeah, and even keep his gates closed, huh?
Or open. Remember, leave things just as you find them.
Sounds like just common courtesy to me.
That's what a lot of hunting is, or at least it should be.
Do all hunters have to walk in a formation like that?
No, but these fellows are after upland game birds, and it's safer, and you get more birds. Each man has a particular zone of fire.
Zone of fire?
Yeah. Back there, when they organized the hunt, they agreed on their positions, each shooting within a specific area in front. Chances of getting hit by shot are reduced. Each has an equal opportunity at the game, and you minimize the squabbles over who shot what.
But surely you wouldn't argue over a thing like that.
Most wouldn't. But once in a while, you'll find a game hog who claims he shot everything. Now, it's obvious these fellows get along well. Having good partners is one way to make sure you have a good hunt.
Look! Hey, if he shot that bird, why didn't he call the dog to him?
Good question. It's just courtesy to the dog's owner. No one but his master should command the dog. Too many working a dog will ruin him. Right, Morgan?
Got that, Morgan? You're working for me.
And a good hunting dog is valuable for finding crippled birds and reducing losses.
Hey! Look, Al! What? What? Why didn't he shoot?
A good hunter knows what he's shooting at. That was a hen. It's protected by law at this time in this area. Obeying regulations will not only save you a lot of grief, but will help you have game to hunt next year.
There goes another one. What a great shot.
That's good shooting. These fellows know what they're doing. If you follow their example, you'll do all right.
Hey, there goes one. Get him. Get him. Why didn't they shoot, Al?
Good hunters don't shoot toward anything like that. If you aren't sure of your background, don't shoot.
Oh, yeah. Respect for property.
Now you're thinking like a sportsman.
Oh, man. There's so much to know.
That's right. Learning how to use a firearm may seem easy, but you can spend the rest of your life learning the ways of nature. It's part of being a good sportsman. Another part of your respect for game is a simple field dressing. It will help keep the flavor. After all, you've enjoyed the hunt. Complete the enjoyment at the dinner table.
How about the landowner?
Frequently, he is offered some of the day's bag as a courtesy. A small price for a good day's hunting.
Is hunting ducks the same as hunting upland game birds?
No. The duck hunter is out there before the ducks begin to fly. You don't want to get caught moving around a duck hunting area much after this. You're likely to scare off the ducks, and you won't be too popular with your fellow hunters.
Isn't Hunter Orange worn here?
Not on a duck hunt. It might scare them. You see, everyone gets to the place about the same time, picks their spot, and generally stays out of each other's shotgun range. And in this type of hunt, you're waiting for the ducks to come to you. Anything out of the ordinary will scare them. That's why you should be camouflaged.
You mean you just sit there and wait?
Not entirely. You're also watching and listening.
Don't you get kind of cold?
Sometimes. But dress properly. You don't want to be any trouble to your friends just because you weren't prepared. See what I mean?
You know, Al, this is worth the trip, even if you don't get any ducks.
Right.
Here come the ducks. But nobody shot.
They were out of range. You don't want to be guilty of sky busting.
Sky busting? What's sky busting?
Oh, that's just blasting away at birds out of range with little chance of hitting anything.
But how do you know when they're within range?
It takes years of experience to learn to identify waterfowl and estimate distances. Two aids for the inexperienced hunter are to wait until you see their eyes or their color. Then they're within range.
You can really keep learning, can't you, Al?
Yes, there's always something new. Acquiring the skills to take these animals will require a great deal of homework. This fellow requires an entirely different hunting technique, even a different firearm, a rifle. But you won't find a more rewarding way to spend your time.
I suppose that hunting big game is a bit easier. I mean, they're so much larger than birds.
No, they're usually much farther away, and you're shooting at a smaller vital area with just one bullet. Remember, a rifle bullet is dangerous at a mile or more. You have to be certain of your background, and never shoot at sound.
over there.
I see.
Actually, you can save a lot of grief if you just have the right attitude about hunting.
Attitude?
Sure. Don't get so excited that you're apt to make a bad mistake. Control your actions. Know what you're doing. You'll get more game and everybody will have more fun. But uh-oh, here's trouble.
Looks like he finally got his.
Yeah, and that'll teach him a lesson. He was probably so excited about hunting that they had what they call early
Early what?
early blur. It's trying or hoping so hard to see game that you actually think things are game when they really aren't.
Nobody needs that.
If you do it right, a big game hunt can be very exciting.
Yeah, Al. Let's go.
Sure. When you're ready. Remember, good hunting companions are important, particularly on a big game hunt.
Why there?
Well, frequently you're out together for several days, and being with good friends helps make a good hunt. Everyone shares the work, and everyone shares the good times. And out of respect for the land and the hunters who might come later, everything is left just as you found it. And don't worry about getting the limit. You can enjoy yourself without firing a shot.
I'm kind of glad you explained all of this, Al. I can see where I started off with the wrong ideas about this hunting business. You just can't blast off like I did. There's a lot to hunting, and you keep on learning.
And you have to have respect for others, for land, for the law, for wildlife. Barney, if you use common sense, control your actions, and don't do anything unless you're sure of what you're doing, you'll be well on your way to becoming a good sportsman. And it'll be worth it.